What's up, guys? I'm talking about the 5 keys to the offense for Ohio State against Notre Dame this Saturday. And we're going to see what they can produce on the field as we head to South Bend. My name is Shane Larson, one of the co founders here on the Scarlet and Gray Empire. This is Ohio State Football with Scarlet and Gray here on YouTube. Corey and Johnny are also the co founders, and we run this channel together. So I would love to hear what your guys' initial predictions are for this Saturday. So comment below with what you think is going to happen, what you're expecting, at least from the offense, as this video will be specifically about what we should expect from the offense. And I want to hear what you guys have to say. I also love hearing where you guys are from. I am Shane Larson from Boise, Idaho. So they call me the Boise Buckeye. I love seeing where you guys are from. We know we've seen people from the West Coast to the East Coast here on the channel. So let us know where you're tuning in from and share this with the rest of Buckeye Nation as we get ready for Saturday's kickoff. So again, I'm going to drop a couple of videos. This one is specific towards the offense and what we expect to see from them if we hope to come out on top against Notre Dame. But the best thing is, I must say this before we even get started, is I'm more confident now than I was 3 weeks ago with the Buckeyes' chances of going into Notre Dame and actually coming out with a W. And I actually am very confident that they can play well based on what I've seen. And before we get into the keys here, I know there's this whole discussion on, well, check out their level of competition. Who have they played yet and whatnot? What I look for in a team, I did this with Ohio State last year too, like, are they progressing in the areas that they need to be progressing regardless of opponent? Are they doing what they're supposed to do to progress in each area? And that is what I've seen, and that is why I'm confident going into Saturday's game. Okay, number one, I want to talk about the running game. I love what I've seen in the running game the last 2 weeks as far as the progression from week 1 until now. The run game is a must. I feel like Henderson is getting much, much better at getting to spots. I think that Chip has done a great job. This last week was phenomenal. I mean, they were able to get the yardage that they needed to get. Obviously, we hear this all the time. Running is going to open up the pass game, but we really do need to establish that run game, especially on the road in a tough, tough environment. Okay. So keep that in mind. I'm looking for not only the run game to progress, and that's going to go on the offensive line, and I'm going to talk about them here in a minute. They have to make sure that they're getting on their blocks, but it comes to the running back's vision. One thing I said on Corey's video that he did just the other day is I'm looking for Henderson to continue to improve his vision. I'm not here to knock the players. I think that he's improved a ton. He's looking like he can get a lot of stuff done for us. Like this last week looked a lot more promising. You know, he was taking a lot of flack for, you know, the decisions he had been making. I do still think there's room for improvement with Henderson in his vision. There were a couple times where he's trying to get to the outside and he doesn't take, he doesn't cut inside to get, lower his shoulder and get a couple extra, 6 yards or so. And I see him trying to get to the outside as the speed back that he is. I think that if he can get upfield and see those opportunities, it's really going to put our offense in a better position. Obviously, easier said than done. I'm a fan. I'm not on the field taking the hits all day long. So that's why I'm saying I'm not trying to tell him how to do his job. I would just like to see his vision get better. But the way they're playing is awesome, and they're getting better and better and better. Probably one of the most important is obviously McCord. Number 2, he needs to play smart and limit the turnovers. Okay. So if you guys recall, I was going back because I was at the Notre Dame game last year. And yes, it was the first game of the season, but their defense actually played extremely well. They made it very difficult. Didn't help us last year that, JSN goes down first part of the game, right? And so the whole game plan was kind of shifted, but they did limit big plays over the top. So I wouldn't expect to see a ton of big plays over the top. We're going to need to take those chances when we get them, but we're going to need to hit the guys that are open when they're open. And I do feel like we actually have a better chance in the pass game this year than we did last year. And the reason I say that is our receivers are becoming more and more comfortable where they're at. So they're able to get open in one-on-one coverages. So we have to take advantage of those. But if it means checking it down or hitting the flats, McCord needs to do that. And we've got to be very careful about those turnovers, especially in this setting. But I'm confident he's becoming more confident. He's letting the ball fly. He's seeing the field a little bit better. And I just think he needs to continue to do that. That's where it banks on the run game too. Limit the blitzing, establish the run game so that we can open up that pass game, get some easier one-on-one coverages. So there's not so much zone, over the top coverages, bracket coverages, and so forth. Get some of these receivers in one-on-ones and we can beat them. I do think part of that, number 3, is getting Marvin Harrison Jr. just established early. And if that means just getting the ball in his hands, right? Sometimes you just got to get the ball in their hands. I would love to see us just get the ball out there, screen passes, something, quick slants, get him the ball in his hands about 2 or 3 times in the first 2 possessions, whether like that gets us a ton of yards or not. Just having the ball in your hands is the same thing as a basketball player making a layup or hitting a free throw. You know, they always tell you, like, if you're in a slump, either hit a layup or get to the free throw line so you can see the ball go in. Same thing for a receiver. Sometimes it's just about getting the ball in your hands and you feel the game a little bit better. I think it's going to be essential for us and for Kyle to limit his turnovers if he can get Marvin established early. And if it's just boom, get him out there, some quick passes. I have confidence they're going to do that. Obviously, Notre Dame's probably going to have the same game plan against him as they did against Jackson Smith and Jigba last year to start the game at least. And so it's going to be hard to get him the ball, but that's why you got to get him there. You don't want him being frustrated the entire game, especially when we're going to need him late into the fourth quarter. This is the thing. One of the things that I haven't even put here, it goes along with this though, is these guys have to get ready for a dogfight, right? I do have confidence that our offense can run through these guys and break them, but Notre Dame does play tough defense, and so we've got to continue to hit them with body shots. That run game, smart passes, getting Marvin Harrison out there. It's got to start early, but we also have to make sure, like I would love to see the receivers stay mentally intact the entire game, like not checking out. I don't want to see anyone check out. I don't expect that to happen, but I have seen it happen a couple of times. And, easier said than done as a fan, obviously, but you don't want to see a receiver checking out of the game just because they're not getting the ball in their hands. They're not as involved in the offense. They don't feel as they're even being utilized. I'm hopeful that these receivers and anybody who's not getting the ball in their hands can stay intact and not check out. Okay, number 4. I talked about it earlier, but the offensive line's got to be ready. I am so impressed with their improvements because week 1 was very concerning. Not surprising, just very concerning. We talked about it here. We expected them to struggle. Like, this is a new line, man, and they're trying to figure things out, and we're trying to see what they can do. And I'll be honest, man, they have improved each game. Now, this is a whole new test for them, but they've got to be ready. They've got to make the blocks. Like Johnny said it to us once, they have to be able to hold their own, right? Ohio State's got to be able to hold their own just on a goal line or a short yardage situation. You've got to be able to get a push, right? Like if it's just a helmet to helmet, like hat on hat, you have got to be able to hold your own and get the yards that you need to get. And I feel like they couldn't do that in week 1 very well, but week 2 and 3, they've been improving. And yes, the opponent's different. Notre Dame's going to come out there with a whole different style of defensive linemen and everything. But I have confidence in this offensive line having confidence in themselves. Like you can see it starting to build. They're starting to realize, okay, we belong here and we know what we're doing. So that's the first thing. But on the pass game, in order for McCord to be able to get this stuff done, all of these things need to go in sync. That's why they're the 5 keys to the offense. You've got to get that run game going. You've got to get McCord to be comfortable back there. Get Marvin Harrison the ball. And then you've got to be blocking. Like all of these things have to be in sync. You've got to limit the pressures on him if you're trying to get people the ball, because Notre Dame's secondary played us really tough last year, and I think they can do the same thing if they can get after the quarterback. All right, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the offensive line does. And here's my secret weapon for this Saturday's game. I say it a lot, but I think Stover is going to be a secret weapon. Okay, we don't utilize the tight ends quite enough, but I think he's going to be vital in the pass game, not just the run game. But I think the pass game is going to be huge for him. He's going to be Kyle's, go-to secret weapon when they're bracketing Marvin and they're doing all this stuff. And like these receivers are having a hard time. I think you're going to see Stover get a couple of catches that are going to be vital for us. First down catches that are going to keep the drives going, shift some momentum for us. Be on the lookout for that. I want to know what you guys have to say, though. So, again, a quick video, 5 keys to the offense. Run game, McCord playing smart, limiting the turnovers. Marvin Harrison getting involved early. Offensive line's got to do their thing, and Stover being the secret weapon. What do you guys think are some of the keys to the offense on Saturday night? I'm really excited for it, though. Here's one thing about Ohio State. We can always get down, like sometimes they play to the level of their competition. We can always talk about the level of their competition saying, oh, well, they haven't played anybody. They haven't done this. They do have a tendency most of the time to play up as well to their competition. Like they play up, right? We saw it in Georgia. And obviously, like we can talk about the Michigan games and stuff, but Ohio State typically gets up for the big games for the most part, right? So I have confidence as a fan, just seeing how they've progressed, that they're going to be coming there ready to rock and roll. So I'm excited to see it. I want to know what you guys have to say. Go Bucks. We'll be coming to you more with some defensive, the 5 keys to the defense. We'll talk about some more stuff on the preview side of things, any injury updates and stuff before kickoff. But we're looking forward to Saturday. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, God bless and go Bucks.